Disgusting, disgraceful and abysmal. They are words many Manchester United fans have used to describe David Coote's decision to award West Ham a penalty for Matthias de Ligt's challenge on Danny Ings, which saw Jarrod Bowen score from the spot and take all 3 points for the Hammers in stoppage time on Sunday. And back, as he is every week on the Whistleblower, to dissect that massive call, plus huge decisions at Arsenal, Villa Park, Brentford, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Everton and Chelsea, is ex-Premier League ref and SunSport columnist Mark Halsey. Mark, how's it going? What a brilliant weekend of Premier League football.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Will. It's absolutely fantastic. It never fails to deliver, does it? It's been absolutely, the games have been fantastic. And I've got to say, Manchester United fans have got every right to feel aggrieved because it was a poor decision.
Right, West Ham 2, Manchester United 1. Mark, David Coote, the referee, Michael Oliver, the VAR. It's the final moment of normal time. The ball drops in the box after 3 players go for a header. Danny Ings and Matthias de Ligt collide, as you can see there. They sort of run towards each other. There's no penalty awarded. De Ligt's lower leg collides, as you can see here, with Danny Ings' lower leg. Now, VAR deems sufficient contact, as you can see here, David Coote looking at the screen, deemed that sufficient contact was made between de Ligt's leg and Danny Ings' leg. There was no penalty given at first. Coote goes and has a look, overturns his decision and awards a pen. What do you think?
Well, for me, it's not a penalty. Never a penalty in a million years, I have to say. I mean, David Coote's in a fantastic position. He's looking straight at it. And it's 2 players coming together in the penalty area. It's normal contact. And I'm looking at ways to think, why has Michael Oliver got involved? Because we keep hearing Howard Webb saying, the on-field decision's got to stay when it's subjective. This is not even subjective. It's just not a penalty. And I'm thinking, David Coote, he's gone over to the screen. He's there, 2 minutes or more?
3 minutes,
being
I think
too
it was,
forensic.
yeah.
What are they seeing? And now, David Coote has got to be mentally tough and mentally strong to stay with his original decision because he was correct. It wasn't a penalty. So I'm looking at why has Michael got involved? Why has he got involved? Now, is it because he's fatigued, he's tired? Because remember, on the Friday, he's travelled down to Brighton to referee Brighton Wolves on the Saturday, and then he's travelled back up to Stockley Park to be VAR official on this game. And I'm sorry, I just don't understand what's going on at the moment with VAR and officials and where Howard Webb stands with the decision making and the training education.
Well, look, you, Mark, have always bigged up Michael Oliver. You say quite publicly that he's our best referee. One thing that I think that you would notice with the decision, I think if we can nip back a picture quickly, the ball bounces down, right? Now, there is contact, clearly here, you can see there's contact between de Ligt's leg and Danny Ings. They come together like that. And it sort of looks, as the ball bounces and then bounces up, that no one actually touches the ball until Ings goes over and kind of takes it with his hand. But I slowed this down as part of my extensive research that I do for the Whistleblower to 0.25 times speed. And if you look really closely, not only is the collision, like you say, a bit of a normal coming together in a contact sport of football, the ball actually hits de Ligt on the knee right here before he makes any contact with Danny Ings. Now, as you know, Mark, I was delighted the penalty was awarded and that Jarrod Bowen scored it. But there just seems to be quite a few reasons why Man United can feel aggrieved. But what's Michael Oliver looking at? What do you think he's thinking when he gets involved? That is the contact that he sees that maybe the refs missed?
Listen, for me, he's being too forensic. Well, was that a clear and obvious error by David Coote? The answer is 100% no. It's not even subjective. It's not a foul. It's normal contact. Why are we getting involved in these situations? Michael Oliver is our best referee, no doubt about that. But listen, we all have bad days at the office, don't we?
Mark Goldbridge called it disgusting, disgraceful and abysmal. Erik Ten Hag said it's an unfair injustice, and United coach Darren Fletcher called it an effing joke. Do you think, Mark, it's one of those things? I mean, there was quite a lot of heat towards Michael Oliver. You mentioned consistency a lot, and when I'm looking at this and hearing what you've got to say about this decision, it feels to me a little bit like we've got an issue with consistency, because lots of the penalties that we've seen given over this season and seasons previous, but this season in particular, have been what I call soft. And you always say, there's no soft in the laws, but it's that consistency thing, isn't it, that you sort of have a problem with?
It is, but this is not even soft. This is not even soft. And yeah, listen, Michael's taken a bit of criticism for this, but remember, he's just recommended a review. David Koo can go across, he can look at that monitor, and it's within his power to say, no, I'm sticking with my original decision. This is not a penalty. And everybody would have applauded him.
Yep. Yeah.
We've just got to get out of this mentality when we're going across to the screen, they're listening to what the VAR's telling them. So the VAR's telling them that's a penalty. When we can all see, if everybody is watching football, that loves football, that are saying that's not a penalty, and the match official is saying that's a penalty, then there's something wrong, isn't there? There's something seriously wrong.
Yeah, quite agree, Mark, quite agree. Look, match number 2, we've got to move on. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2, a thrilling game at the Emirates. Referee here, Anthony Taylor, VAR, Sam Barrett. We've got 3 big incidents I want to talk to you about here. The first one, this challenge here, Ibrahima Konate's slide tackle on Gabriel Martinelli. You know what the Arsenal fans are like, Mark, the conspiracy theorists. They're convinced PGMOL have got an agenda against them. We've debunked some of that, I think, on the Whistleblower so far this season. But we'll start with this one. Konate's tackle on Martinelli. A robust challenge for sure, but what did you make of it?
Well, this is more of a penalty than the penalty that West Ham got. Absolutely 100%, I can tell you. But I agree with this. I think he's gone in robustly, but he's got the ball. And, when you've got 2 players challenged for a ball in that nature, you're going to have normal contact, or I should say natural contact. But for me, I thought they got this one right. Like you say, if they give the one at West Ham for consistency, you say they've got to give this one, because that's even more as a penalty as the West Ham, as I said. But I think they got this one right, personally.
Yeah, as I keep telling you, though, we want more correct decisions, not just consistently wrong ones. Right, the next decision, Mark, Virgil van Dijk. Right, this one was a little bit missed, I think, in a lot of places. He kicks out twice at Kai Havertz a bit earlier in the game. Now, from my point of view, I know you're going to talk to me about violent conduct. It appears that there would certainly have been a case, and that maybe Arsenal can feel aggrieved, but what did you make of it?
No, I was surprised that Van Dijk didn't receive a yellow card. I thought it was petulance on his part. And Anthony Taylor's seen the incident. For me, I thought he was lucky to escape without a yellow card.
But you wouldn't have not a violent conduct offence then?
No, I didn't think it was a violent act. I just thought it was petulance by Van Dijk, and I thought he should have received a yellow card. Fair
enough. Now, this one, Arsenal fans, Mark, are particularly upset about. Gabriel Jesus has what would have been a dramatic late winner ruled out for a foul in the build-up, right? Now, replays show the foul in question is Jakub Kiwior here winning a header against Dominik Szoboszlai. Now, from this passage of play here, Kiwior, you can see, he's beaten Szoboszlai to the ball. Kai Havertz does well to control it and then dinks it over to keep it. Eventually falls to Jesus and goes in. I'm looking at that and thinking he's won a header. Now, you can tell me, is there any reason why that goal shouldn't have been given?
Listen, I'm in agreement with you, Will. I didn't think, when I watched it live at the time, I didn't think it was a foul. Obviously, it's subjective. Anthony Taylor's right there. He feels that's a foul.
Well, he's so close to it, isn't he? Look how close he is there. You can see.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you can be too close, but for me, that's not a foul. And Arsenal can feel aggrieved that was given to Liverpool.
Well, I mean, Mikel Arteta said, we'll probably get another letter from the PGMOL, but, it doesn't change anything and it doesn't give us any points. What's going through Anthony's mind there, Mark? Because he's looking right at it and Arsenal players and fans were fuming afterwards, but the players were up in his face and he was confident, clearly, in his decision. But what's going through his head? What's he seeing that the rest of us aren't?
Well, I don't know. Obviously, he must feel that that the Arsenal players most probably sort of gone over the top of him and arched his back and made it Difficult for the Liverpool player to challenge, but you can clearly see he's won the ball first before he goes over the player. So, listen, only Anthony Taylor can tell us why he's given that as a free kick. And for me, it's not a free kick. He should have just allowed play to continue.
Fair enough. So this week, Arsenal can feel a little bit aggrieved. Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 1. Brilliant game at Villa Park. Chris Kavanagh, the referee here. Matt Donoghue, the VAR. Few incidents in this one. In the first half at 0-0, John McGinn thought he'd scored. Jacob Ramsey's cross goes all the way through, running along the goal line. Now, Ollie Watkins tries to keep it in, as we can see here. He lays it back to John McGinn, who curls in the top corner. Goal given. VAR intervenes and overturns, right? The Premier League said, as there was factual evidence that the ball was out of play in the build-up to the goal, the VAR recommended that the goal was disallowed. Now, if we stay on this for a second, is it just me, Mark? Or I know the bottom of the ball appears to be over the line there, but as we see when we see the aerial shots of the balls being over the goal line with the Hawkeye technology, the ball is round. I don't know if it's just me, but that to me looks like if you looked from above, that the whole ball wouldn't be over the line. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that they've not shown, the aerial view, because we could see a totally different picture.
Can they, though? View. Can they, when it's on the goal line, not actually on the goal?
I think we have seen that before, haven't we? Didn't it happen a season
Tottenham,
or two ago
when
we actually? Yeah, they showed the aerial view, didn't they? That the ball. Yeah. I mean, listen, look, the law says the whole of the circumference of the ball's got to be over the line. The whole of the ball over the line. So is that factual?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The wording was quite strong.
It's subjective, isn't it?
But Mike, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think that one's subjective. If you follow your eyes down the right hand side of that white line, they're interrupted ever so slightly by the curve of the ball. I think.
Well, I think last season, was it Newcastle Arsenal? We had the same sort of incident. I think there was 3 incidents in one over a goal, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And I think there was a similar incident, and they said it wasn't conclusive, so they allowed it. But listen, we have to go with what they say, don't we? Although sometimes some of us may disagree.
That's what we're here for, Mark, to keep them on their toes. Right, the second half, it was 1-0 to Villa at this stage. Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo skins Matty Cash, who slides in the box. He totally misses the ball. As you can see here in this first picture we've got, he makes contact with the foot. And Antoine Semenyo there is still on his feet. If we move on to the next one, you can see then that Semenyo is now on his way down after the contact takes place. Now, Chris Kavanagh was very, very quick here to give a free kick to Villa rather than a penalty to Bournemouth and book Semenyo for simulation. VAR checked and confirmed that decision. It seems to me that he's well hard done by. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, listen, look, Matty Cash doesn't get the ball, does he? He doesn't play the ball.
Not even close.
I think that, Aston Villa can be agreed that they've not got a penalty there. And again, I go back to the West Ham Man United. VAR get involved in that, but they don't get involved in that situation. And as you say,
they got involved, didn't they? But they backed up the referee's decision.
Well, they did, but it's not simulation. It's not simulation. So it's a wrong decision. Is it a clear and obvious error? I would say it was. Now, in this game, Chris Kavanagh showed 13 yellow cards.
Yeah.
13 yellow cards. And I just don't understand the referee at this level showing 13 yellow cards. To me, he's lost the respect to the players, and perhaps he's lost control of the game as well. So a referee at that level should not be showing 13 yellow cards in a game. They've got to start managing the players, start managing the event. And we're hearing it's not the first time this season we've had over 13 yellow cards in the game.
Chelsea Bournemouth broke the record, didn't it, Mark, earlier in the season? Right, look, the last one at Villa Park here, the wildest one of all, in my opinion. 86th minute, Leon Bailey gets away with a handball. Bournemouth corner comes in. You can see the first angle there. His arm's away from his body. The ball clearly hitting his arm. Here's another angle. He gets in a right old mess. And the ball strikes his arm as he's missing a header, basically. No penalty given on field. And that was confirmed by the VAR because, I quote, his arm was in a justifiable position. Now, Leon Bailey has loads of time to see this ball coming over. What is a justifiable position now? We're given some of the ones we have seen given.
Well, what you got to look at that incident with Bailey, the ball comes a long way, doesn't it? It comes
Yeah.
a long, long way. She's got plenty of time. Now, when you're jumping, your arm is going to come up naturally. So what you've got to ask yourself, is his arms in a natural position for that phase of play? Now, it's subjective. Some will say, yes, it's a penalty. Some will say, no, it's not a penalty. So with this incident, for me, I thought it was correct in not giving a penalty in that situation because I thought his arm was in a natural position for that phase of play. Was it a deliberate movement of the arm towards the ball? It's not, because he's jumping and his arms are going up. So although I felt that they should have had a penalty for the challenge by Matty Cash, I didn't think that one was quite enough for a penalty for a deliberate handball.
No, I'm not sure. Some of the ones we see where they're really close proximity. The Law 12, look, I'm going to quote you some laws here, Mark. When a player touches the ball with their hand or arm when it's made their body unnaturally bigger, right? And a player is considered to have made their body unnaturally bigger when their position of their hand or arm is not a consequence or justifiable by the player's body movement for that situation. Now, I'm sorry, the ball's come absolutely miles. The only reason he's in that situation is because he's made an absolute nose up of a header. He should be punished for that poor judgment, in my opinion, because Bournemouth would have been there to get the ball back in.
Well, I'm sorry, Will. In my opinion, his arms are in the natural position for that phase of play.
Fair enough. Well, you are the ex-Premier League referee, Mark, so I'll bow to your wisdom.
Will, there you go. It's subjective. You're saying it's a penalty. I'm saying it's not. So VAR are correct to not get involved in that decision.
Fair enough, fair enough. I think you've got me there. Right, Mark, let's finish the whistleblower as we do with our quick-fire round, starting with this decision at Brentford. Should Brentford have been awarded a penalty for Harry Clarke's challenge on Keane Lewis Potter, which actually started outside the penalty box?
Yeah, listen, obviously we know if an incident starts outside the penalty box and a foul and it continues into the penalty area, then a penalty must be given. And I don't think Ipswich can have any complaints in that situation. I thought it was a penalty.
OK, and should Harry Clarke have been sent off for his second challenge, this one here, on Keane Lewis Potter, when it actually looked like he got the ball?
Yeah, I think it's one of those, isn't it? I think that he was a bit naive. He obviously is the wrong side. And I think they can't have no complaints with a second yellow card with that situation.
Oh, that's a bit harsh, that one. Was Leicester's Jamie Vardy harshly denied a penalty when he was pulled back here by Nottingham Forest Nikola Milenkovic in the box?
Yeah, listen, I've got to be honest. I don't think there was enough in that to, the pull for a penalty. I think when he goes down, you can see he clips his own heels. Jamie Vardy clips his own heels. And I have to agree that I didn't think that was a penalty.
He is tugged back there, though, and I can't see the difference between that and the William Saliba challenge, for example, on the Evan Nilsson the other week.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of a slight difference. I don't think I don't think that the hold was enough to make him go down in the manner he did. There's always going to be natural contact, and I thought that was natural contact. And then watching it, you can see Jamie Vardy clip his own heels, and that's what makes him go to ground.
Fair. Next one then. Should Crystal Palace have been awarded a penalty for this challenge here by Mickey van der Ven on Eberechi Eze?
Yeah, listen, you can look at it and you can argue one way or the other. He looks like he's got hold of him and he's
go on, Em.
Brought him down. But, yeah, I think they've got every right to feel aggrieved not having a penalty.
Yeah, I've done
that situation.
He's a goal scoring opportunity as well. I think Tottenham got away with one there. Should Everton have been awarded a penalty after Dominic Calvert-Lewin hit the deck after trying to get around Fulham's Calvin Bassey?
No, not for me. I didn't think that was a penalty. I thought again, it's natural contact, and he's quite right to hold his ground. Not a penalty for me.
Fair enough. And was it the correct decision to overturn a penalty Chelsea were awarded when Christopher and Cuckoo went down under this challenge from Dan Burn?
Absolutely. I thought that's where VAR come into its own in that situation. Watching the game live, I didn't think it was a penalty in real time. I mean, Simon Hooper's got a great view. I just can't understand why he's given a penalty. Absolutely correct decision to overturn the penalty. In my opinion, it's not a penalty.
Fair enough. And last one, Mark, delaying the restarts, right? Luis Diaz got away with a couple at Arsenal. The Gunners have obviously been on the raw end of a few delaying the restart decisions this season. Now, this, Phil Foden, standing there in front of Adam Lallana with his hands behind his back like I do in the Whistleblower studio. Lallana kicks the ball at him and it's somehow Lallana that gets booked. What is going on, just briefly, with these delaying the restart calls?
Yeah, listen, we're talking about consistency, aren't we? And we saw it in the Arsenal game yesterday as well. I mean, I heard the commentator, I think it was actually Mike Dean say, "Oh, the player wasn't set." I mean, tell me who's set when the foul's committed and then he kicks the ball away. You can argue, Declan Rice, when he was sent off for a second yellow, none of them were set. So why was he sent off? In that situation, you've got to say that Phil Foden's got to retreat 10 yards, 9.15 metres. He's got to get back. So I thought it was harsh. I thought Foden should have received the yellow card in that situation.